it says we're live. So if you're watching this and you're hearing us, there we are. Hi everyone, this is Epically Geeky Live. I'm your host Eugene Stevens. I'm joined by my partner in crime, Cyrus Martin. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm here. I'm awake. It's Tuesday. We're both doing good just to be here and awake. I think it's an accomplishment. 10 points for each of us.
Heck yes. So do I need to create a spreadsheet and have it off on the side so I keep
No, we cannot track points. It's a rule. You don't track points. You don't keep up with it. It's up for everyone to keep up with their own points, and they do. There's nothing they can do with them. But
fair enough.
You know.
Oh, kind of like Who's Line, right? The points don't matter, and we're not keeping.
That was the origin of this. Yes.
Yeah. Fair enough. So I was gonna say, well, we could do our own thing and have our own point system. So
no, we cannot be organized.
True enough. That's why we're doing a live show. So, we don't have anyone in the chat yet. So hopefully we'll have some people join us. We'll shout them out as they join the chat. So, but we're going to again jump right on in. The first thing that we've been doing that we're going to continue on with is the summer movie game. That's the wrong thing. Let's try this again. There we go. All right. So the summer movie game.
I saw Superman.
Okay, I want to talk to you about that here in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely want to talk to you about that. Okay, so Lilo and Stitch still in first place. Lilo and Stitch is going to be first place. I don't think anything can catch it. There's nothing that's coming out that big unless, Superman's doing better. It's doing really good. It jumped up to number 4 at $235 million. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But anyway, yeah, nothing's catching Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch is number 1 for the movie game this year, period, end of story. Jurassic World, I think, swapped around with How to Train Your Dragon. I think it bypassed it. I really expect Superman to... Here's the thing. I think it could catch Jurassic World. I think it could be number 2. The thing is, though, is this coming week, we have Fantastic Four First Steps. So even if the movie is just okay, it's still going to take a lot of Superman's wind out of his sails. Probably Jurassic World and everything else. I bet everything really starts to dip this coming week, depending on Fantastic Four. But anyway, Superman number 4, Mission Impossible 195 at number 5. Number 6, Thunderbolts 189, F1 still making money, still don't know why. Final Destination is pretty much petered out at number 8, 138. Elio number 9, and then 28 years later. So next week, I fully expect. Depending on which is making more money, Elio or 28 years later, one of those two is going to drop off because, like I said, Fantastic Four will definitely be on this list unless people are just like absolutely done with Marvel. But I don't think so. Everyone I've talked to has been like, I'm actually excited for this one. They want to see what's going on. So, and then as for the player standings, Pat had a big jump. He stayed at number 1. I jumped up from number 3 to number 2. Our buddy Lewis, Tex-Mex, jumped up from number 3 from number 5. Like, see, this was a big week for him. Travis down from 2 to 4. Ray went up from number 8 to 5, so he had a big jump as well. Mike down to 6 from 4. Sean moved up 1. Chris moved down 2. Johnny stayed at number 9, and so did Josh W. So, anyway, that's our current standings. All right, so. Back to the Superman.
Well, hang on. Let me ask you a question real quick before we do that. Thunderbolts, what was it at last week? Because I thought it was the same number.
Oh, it did not change that much. You know what? Actually, I think I've got it pulled up right here. Hold on. Thunderbolts last week was at... Yeah, it did not really change.
Was it 189 last week?
Let me see here. Last week, yeah. It only the weekend gross reported for Thunderbolts was $20,000.
Okay, so it's not even really running in theaters then.
No, it's not. It's trickling down to basically nothing at this point. So,
all right. Well, that answers that.
Last week, let's see, is this week? This is this week. Last week, Lilo and Stitch was at 414, so it went up for. Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon was number 3 at 239, and it went up to 250, but Jurassic World lapped it. It went from 232 to 276. So, it still brought in like $50 million.
Well, it's dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You know?
So
It's tough to beat dinosaurs, man.
it is. That's why I thought it was going to be the number one movie. I was like, I don't know how. I don't know if people are tired of superheroes, even if Superman and Fantastic Four looked really good. I was just like, I think, but dinosaurs is still a pretty safe bet. So, and had Lilo and Stitch not blown everything out of the water, it would be number one.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. All right. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we talk about Superman?
No, let's jump in. Let's do it.
All right. So you saw Superman. I really did. You and I have been friends for a long time, and we have both been guilty, very much so, of overhyping something for the other person, for them to go, yeah, it was good, but it wasn't like the best thing ever. Like you kind of made it out to. So I've actively kept that in mind. I've actively tried to be like that with people, and even if I did think something was really, really good, I do try to be like, I think you will like it. That's generally what I default to now. I really liked it. I think you will like it, but I don't want to tell them this is the best thing ever. It's
right.
It's a slice of bread, whatever. So, what were your thoughts, sir?
So first of all, Manon and I both went and saw it at IMAX in Dallas. It wasn't 3D; it was just regular. And went in no real expectations. Just try to have fun. Whatever. And I will tell you this: we did have a good time. It was fun. We did have fun. So I considered it a positive experience. But
okay.
But as someone who what I came to the conclusion, I talked about this on one of my streams a little bit. And what I think I came to the conclusion is sometimes a movie is just not for me. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
It's not the right movie for me. So I don't want to. I feel awkward talking about it in a negative light because it wasn't for me. Like for me, I'm an old man, and for me, I really like Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked him a lot. But that doesn't mean I liked Superman 4. That was not a good movie.
Yeah.
But I really liked him. And I did really, at first I didn't really like Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
But I came around on it pretty quick. And there was a lot of good reasons for that. The music, the art direction, Henry Cavill, definitely I warmed up to him. And of course Zod. I mean, Michael Shannon was awesome as Zod. Superman Returns, the one with Kevin Spacey, I really liked that one. I know not a lot of people don't really like that one, but I really did enjoy that one when it came out. I thought it was really fun. Some of it was like we talked about,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the CGI just doesn't really hold up, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. This one, where do I begin? I'll just say this. I'm glad that you liked it. I'm glad that you had a good time. I'm glad that because we also did have a good time. It was fun. But I feel like it was a really bad movie.
Really? Okay.
And what I mean by that is I don't understand what happened in that movie. Like I've tried to explain, how would I explain to someone what happens in that movie? I could explain a little of this. I could explain a little of that. I could say this happened and this thing happened. But what was the movie? It was a lot of things that I can't really make sense out of. And because of that, I really had a hard time with the story because I really felt like the story wasn't important.
Okay.
I just had a problem with the cohesiveness of what was going on.
Okay.
they seem to jump a lot, and there was some strange things that happened. I don't know if we want to get into any spoiler type stuff here, but I will just say,
well, since no one is watching live right now, I would say that's perfectly fine. And if you watch this, in the past tense, spoiler alert, we're about to talk about some Superman stuff. Oh, now we have a viewer. So,
oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah, well, actually, it just jumped up to one. So
I'll hold off on spoilers in case anybody's. If anybody that's watching, if you jump in the chat and say you're cool with spoilers, then we can do that. So I'll just be kind of vague about some things. There's a couple of problems that I have with the movie. Okay. Other than it just being, to me, very hard to figure out what's even going on. Two big problems. One, this is not a spoiler, but there's a point in the movie, and it lasts about 5 minutes. It's pretty long, where they're just arguing. They're like arguing for a long time. And it's like, it really, that moment, I know maybe not everybody feels this way. You probably don't feel this way, but it really took me out of what was going on, because I was like, what are we watching? It was a scene between Lois and Clark Kent. And they were just...
Say that I'm assuming that's the scene you're talking about.
Yeah, they were arguing for a long time. And it just kind of was like, why is this in the movie? I was a little confused by that. There's another thing that happens in the movie, and I can't really explain it because of the spoiler thing. There's something that happens in the movie that's a very significant reimagining of certain Superman stuff that's very cemented in the history of Superman.
It says we don't have a viewer right now, so if you want to say it, I say go for it.
All right. The thing with Superman's parents.
Okay.
There's a lot of people have a lot of theories about that, but I've seen an interview with James Gunn, and he's confirmed that that's actually what is going on. And I was like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. And see, that was the thing that I walked out of. I was just like, I understand why it was done because of the impact it has like later on. But I'm just like, I can see why a lot of people would be like, oh, they changed this. And then I've also read people are like, well, actually, in this series, that's exactly what happened. Like, this has been retconned before. So this isn't a completely new thing.
And this is the problem that we have with comic books is there's so many versions and retellings and all this kind of stuff. The problem is that not all of those have been equally successful or equally embraced by the fans. Sometimes they screwed up.
Hey, Last Line, how you doing?
What's up, Last? Oh, Last Line really liked the movie, by the way.
And here's what's funny. Last Line just posted a comment, so let me throw it up here real quick. Last Line just wrote a soapbox, and now it's saying we have a viewer. Like, what's going on? Tell me what's going on here.
I don't know. Anyway, who knows? It's YouTube. Anyway. So Last Line's seen it. He likes the movie quite a bit.
Okay.
I don't know how he feels about this issue with the parents. The whole. I thought it was strange. It really changes a lot of the dynamic of who Superman is and what he thinks about himself. And I get what they try to do in this story, where they tried to be like, even though that's who they are, that's not who you are, and you make your own decisions and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, I get that, but that's not what happened. I mean, look, and this is why I said, maybe this movie's not for me, because I know Superman from a certain context and from a certain point of view. And I have there's certain aspects of Superman that I'm willing to be negotiable about, and then there's certain aspects of Superman that I really feel like I am not very amiable about. I'm kind of like, that's core Superman stuff, I don't, and that was definitely something that I was like, okay, I'm not going to throw a fit about this. I'm not going to get all mad or upset or something like that. But I definitely felt like that was when I was like, okay, this movie's not for me. Other people are not even going to care about that. That's not even going to be a big deal at all to a lot of people, you know. But that's a big deal for me, you know.
See, I was okay with it. Like it did. Let's see what he said. Oh, the first thing that Last Line said, are you talking about the Jor-El stuff? I forgot what comic series it was, but they did something like that. Yeah, we talked about that. Technically, he was a bad guy too in Man of Steel. I was okay with that change just because of the impact. The scene where he's talking with his dad.
What do you mean he was a bad? What do you mean he was a bad guy in Man of Steel? You have to explain that. I don't understand what that means.
Yeah, tell us what you mean, Last Line. But the impact I felt of that scene where he's sitting there and he's like, "Am I the person I thought I was?" and everything, and his dad is like,
"Yeah, it was a good scene.
You are your actions are who you are.
You know,
your actions make who you are."
I'm glad you said that because even though that scene happens because of the other scene that I have a problem with,
right?
I would say that scene was probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Absolutely. That is why I want to go watch it again with my boys. I want them to understand that, you know, and I've stressed this. This is not some new idea that I'm just, I've never thought about that. I think people need to hear that. I think people need to hear that you are not the product of your parents or anything else. That is on you. If you're a shitty person, yeah, you may have had a bad growing up and that gives you some leeway, but in the end, that's on you, man. Like if you're a shitty person, you're a shitty person. If you're a good person, you hopefully have been guided that way. But in the end, that's
true. And also the fact that he's questioning himself is also good for people to see because it's okay to question yourself. It's okay to be like, am I doing the right thing? Am I, you know, what am I here for? You know, all these abilities that I have, were they given to me for good reasons? You know, It's good to ask these questions. It's good for people to ask that stuff. It was a good scene.
Last Line said, well, it's not spelled out and it's more of a fan theory stuff. I don't think they disclose it specifically like this movie did. So maybe it is there. It's just maybe not quite.
I don't think that's. I've watched Man of Steel probably 50 times, and I'm very familiar with Russell Crowe's interpretation of Jor-El and the wife also. I don't think that's true. They made a decision anyway. We're not getting. Do we want to get into? I don't know what we want to do.
We can keep talking about this if we want to. I mean, it's our live show. We're going to do whatever the hell we want, man.
So Jor-El and his wife decide to have a baby on their own outside of the system in that Superman universe. In that Superman universe, nobody has babies. They're like hatched in the hatchery, you know, and they're given specific, like they're born for specific purposes. You are born to be a soldier. You are born to be a scientist. You are, you know, they're assigned. They're not just assigned something. Their DNA is set up so that they can be the best they can be for that thing or whatever. So people don't actually have babies in that universe. But he and his wife decide to have the first natural birth in who God knows how long on Krypton. And when he sends Superman off, he sends him with all this stuff. Obviously, it's a typical thing that happens in the Superman stories. And it's like, oh, you're going to go to this planet. You're going to be super powerful, but you need to help these people. You're going to help them. They're going to help you. They'll join you in the light. There's this whole thing about that, right? About like, we're sending you to them, and we're giving you all this knowledge and all this stuff to help you, you know, thrive in that environment to do the right things. So, Jor-El defied the council. He defied Zod, and Zod killed him. I don't know how Jor-El's a bad guy. I don't know. I'm trying to understand what you mean by that. It's
he said, "I'm a viewer, not a guest." Lol, just chiming in.
That's okay. You're a guest. You are.
Yeah.
Be our guest. Be our guest.
like I said, that was my favorite scene in the movie. That was super impactful.
It was a good scene.
I've told people that like I can see this being carried on in the rest of the movies. Like I totally see some scene in the future where Batman is about to kill someone who totally deserves it, the Joker, somebody, and Superman takes him aside and is like, Bruce, your actions define who you are, not your parents. And that maybe that's what brings him back from the edge. Yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed it. I wish you had really enjoyed it. Let me ask you this though.
Well,
so
I didn't tell me. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Hang on. I didn't hate the movie. I had a good time.
I'm not saying you hated the movie.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it.
Okay, so
but it wasn't good.
It was a very good movie.
I like a lot of bad movies. Fair enough. I like He-Man. That's a terrible movie.
Terrible movie.
I love that movie. I'm not. You gotta pay attention to what I'm saying, Eugene. I'm not saying
you're right. I confused it. My bad.
I'm not saying I hate. I that is the wrong way to view this.
You're right. You're right.
It doesn't have to be good for you to love it. My favorite video games. I got this sitting right here. You know what this is? What are we talking about?
Yeah, you're right. So, but yeah, like I can see this playing a lot. Further on into the stories and stuff like that. What do you think about the information that's come out that apparently the next one they're fast tracking is Supergirl? And
okay. So
because I've heard a lot of people are just like, well, like, okay, so when my former partner, like one of his big deals, he was like, what is the deal with Supergirl? Like, she's like,
can I talk about that? Can I talk about this for a second? Let me talk about this for a second,
okay, go
please. Ahead. This brings up an issue that I had with the movie, and I'm not complaining about it because it doesn't bother me personally. I don't care one way or the other, but I did think it was a little strange that there was so much cussing in this movie. It seemed like this movie was more supposed to be aimed at families, like more family friendly. Just that was the way I had interpreted it. Maybe that's just me misinterpreting that. But that's
Nathan
what
Fillion said. He said the F-bomb in this movie more in this movie than he has in anything else. So
there was a lot of swearing in this movie.
Yes.
And so at the end of the movie, when Supergirl shows up and she calls him a bitch, I thought it was funny, but I know for a fact there was people in the theater with us that had a problem. I could tell. There was a couple of times when they were like it got a little too quiet in the theater. You know what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
But the girl that's playing Supergirl, correct me if I'm wrong, is she the young... was she in House of the Dragon? Was she the young version of the Queen from House of the Dragon? Because I think that's the same actress. We barely saw her on screen, so I'm not 100% sure. I think that it is.
No, I'd have to look. I didn't pull up IMDb. I should have pulled up IMDb, and I didn't do that. Millie Alcock is her name.
Okay.
So no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what she's done. So, Last Line says yes, it is.
It is her? Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And I'll tell you, that's what I thought when I saw her. I was like, I think that's her. I love her. Like, she is awesome in House of the Dragon. Like, she's really good. She's better than the older version, the older actress. Like, she's really good. So I'm down for watching Supergirl just because of her. Like, I don't like the dog. I'll tell you this. The dog is annoying and it doesn't look real, and it's just irritating. I think the kids will love it, and that's another reason. There's several things about the movie that I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. That's not for me. But I'm not going to say it's not like sacrilegious or, oh my God, I can't believe they've done this thing. It's just, it was like, it's not something I'm down with. But, so the Supergirl movie, if they're going to have the dog, I hope they rein that dog in a bit, because that's a little...
Well, apparently the Supergirl movie is... I don't know which one it is. Everyone's already said it's going to be based off of this Woman of Tomorrow. It's based off of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and it's supposed to be dark because
Really?
she's like literally she's a party girl. She's like goes to other planets, constantly drinks and stuff, and is like running herself into the ground. And it's her coming to the realization, I have to be better than this. So, and if it's being James Gunn, I have a feeling, if it's anything like, especially Guardians 3, it can get really deep, really quick, really real.
I don't know how you feel about Guardians 3, but I'll tell you this. I didn't see that shit coming.
That was a gut punch and a half. Like I was tearing up because I love animals. You love animals. And watching that shit was hard.
In the theater, there was audible gasps in the theater people were like, whoa, this is really what we're doing. And I would say, when I say it's these movies, maybe it's not for me. The people that I think it is for, maybe it's not for them either. It's like, I don't know. I think this is the beginning of me being out of touch with the pop culture and not really understanding where things are going in entertainment. Like, I kind of feel like I like old shit,
Fair enough. I mean, you and I have both talked about this. Like, I built this PC specifically because I want to go back and play retro gaming. And I'm playing some things like Left 4 Dead, which, is that game's not that old. No, that game's getting old. But no, like, yes, I'm like you. I like watching older stuff, but I do still enjoy, watching stuff. And I'm interested to see what happens. So
I think that I like a different type of superhero movie. And
that's fair.
I think that's what it is. Like, the Zack Snyder interpretations, I liked them. And I like that the stories were told in a very cinematic way with like a lot of attention given to the art direction and, the shot choices and the lighting and the camera focus. Like there's a lot of like filmy stuff going on. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I liked the Batman, you know what I mean? That Patterson one. I liked that for the same reason.
Surprised the hell out of me. I did not expect to like that movie or him in it. And I was like, damn, he's a really good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Did you watch the Penguin series?
I have not watched Penguin yet. I've heard nothing but good though.
It's so good. And it's the same type of stuff. It's very good. It's very well made. And that's what I'm into, Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing holds true with Star Wars. I watched Andor and fell in love. I'm absolutely in love with Andor season 1 and 2. And, I know, and that's another example of how like, I like a certain type of stuff more than other stuff. And I think that a lot of audiences, kids and younger people and stuff, they're going to be drawn more towards a different, these universes have a lot of, different ways these movies can be made, and there's enough room for everybody to have something they like. And I don't hate this movie. It's just not good. It's just not well made. It just, you watch it and it jumps around a lot. It doesn't make a lot of sense. His costume looks really bad. The CGI and some things was there's some stuff that I would have done differently, but again, the whole movie's vibe is different than what I would have done. It's a different, and a lot of that is very Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. This movie feels like it could actually exist in the same universe as Guardians of the Galaxy. Like Superman, like if Star-Lord ever gets back to Earth to live, there's Superman. He runs into Superman. I could see that happen in the ultimate DC crossover with the, But anyway, I'm rambling because I don't know how to explain exactly how I feel other than I just don't think it's a very good movie, but that doesn't mean it's not fun. I would actually watch it again. I would watch it again, Yeah. And I would watch it with
I really do want to take my boys to go see it because like I said, real quick, just as a side note. So, there's a cosplayer. He's still kind of new to the thing. He's just been starting to do it the last couple of years. He came dressed as Mr. Terrific this last weekend and was fantastic because when he walked by, I looked at his jacket and I was just like, he put that together really quickly. Like, did he paint the letters and stuff on? Well, at the end of the day, Saturday, he came by. He's actually the trainer for one of our members. And we got to talking to him. We got to looking at his jacket. I'm just like, oh, hell no. Like, he sewed that together. And we're like, how long did it take you? Like, I was asking, I was like, did you like see this in like the trailer like months or weeks ago or whatever? And you've been working? He goes, no, I put this together in 3 days. And I'm just like, are you insane? Like that, the level of detail that you put into this costume in 3 days was mind blowing. I didn't really know anything about Mr. Terrific until I started watching the movie, and I was just like, okay, so I need to go research.
Well, I'm the same. I really didn't know much about him, and I'll tell you what, my favorite character in the movie.
He was really good.
Yeah, he's my favorite character. And then Nathan Fillion was my second favorite. Both of those two guys were my two favorites in the movie.
And the best scene of his is when he's walking around the battlefield and just the giant thumbs. I was just like, yeah, if you're going to do it right, man.
I love Nathan Fillion.
I do too.
And I'm watching the movie thinking, damn, I wish you would have had that Uncharted movie, dude. You got so screwed out of that. That's all I can think about. I'll never let it go.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Mannon said that he thinks that they're doing something else with the Firefly, and I haven't heard anything about it, so I don't know. I haven't either.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is unless you retcon the movie, I don't want to see it because they killed off some of my favorite characters in the movie. So unless they did a prequel, which they're all way too old to do that, I'm like, I don't know if I want anymore. Like I came to that realization. Someone was like, "So are you gonna keep the movie as canon?" And I'm just like, oh, damn, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Unless they did an animated one, which I don't know about that, but
that's possible.
I don't know.
All right. Well, real quick, before we get on to our first big topic, we've had some unfortunate news happen the last couple of days. The first one is I got to start hitting remove on that. The first one is the news that came out yesterday that Malcolm-Jamal Warner passed away. He apparently drowned while he was vacationing with his family. He was only 53. Yeah. Dude, I loved his character pretty much all the way through on the Cosby Show. And then every time he'd show up in something else, like I didn't really watch anything else later on in life, like consistently, but like Christy's watched some shows that he's been in it. And every time I walked in and I saw him there, I was just like, hey, Theo, it's good to see Theo still working. So
apparently he did a lot of producing, like a whole bunch of stuff. So
yeah. So it was very sad news to hear that he passed. And then today we got the news that Ozzy Osbourne passed away as well. My wife was telling me that supposedly she had heard, because I was talking about this with my partner when the news first broke and stuff, was that he just finished, like a couple of weeks ago, he just finished his farewell tour, and we're like, I wonder if he knew, like it was really close. And my wife told me she had rumored or something or another that supposedly he was planning a trip to Europe so that he could end his own life because his Parkinson's has gotten that bad. So I don't know if that's the case. That's just a rumor. Take it for what it is. But did you ever watch his what is it called? The I don't want to say live action. What am I talking about? What's the word I'm looking for? Reality TV show. The reality TV show he had with his family. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, when in the beginning I watched several episodes. Yeah.
So
remember when he had this giant remote that was like a Wii U tablet almost, and he's like,
Jared!
Yeah. They played it up though. He wasn't as bad as they made it out, but
well, they all do. Like, I've heard so much stuff from people who've actually worked on those shows, and they're just like, everything you're watching is scripted. Everything is scripted. Now they may pull some ideas from real life, but it's all scripted. So
his family, they all figured out how to do something, make money.
Bless
you. Sneeze. My goodness. Sorry about that. This is nothing to sneeze at though. Yeah, like His wife had her own thing. His daughter, his son, they all did their own thing. That whole family, I mean, you never see that. You never see the whole family be successful and make money doing showbiz stuff. And he did that for them. You know, if it wasn't for him, obviously none of them had anything. So I think, and what's funny about Ozzy Osbourne is, you know, he used to have this reputation in the 80s and in the 90s of just this evil dark lord, you know, the Prince of Darkness, and
yes.
you know, biting the heads off bats, and just, you know, the ultimate hellraiser, you know, and he's not even he's just this dude, you know, just this family guy, you know.
I think that's honestly why that show did so well, because that's what everyone knew was, oh, he's the Prince of Darkness. Let's see what it's going to be like when he's at home. And he's this old man walking around yelling for his wife to come help him figure out how to turn the TV on or whatever. It's like, he's just a dude, which is pretty cool, actually. So
yeah. My apologies for not muting the mic last line. I'll take 10 points away from myself.
Okay. But we're not keeping track. So anyway.
That's right.
That's right. So let's see here.
The thing with Malcolm-Jamal Warner, though, I just want to say real quick. He wasn't that much older than us, really. Like it's. No, I didn't realize it was that like we were that close.
I didn't either.
Yeah, and we all watched the Cosby Show. I mean, good God, religiously, we watched the Cosby Show. Bill Cosby. Whatever you think about Bill Cosby, and we all have our thoughts. He did have a statement today where he talked about Malcolm-Jamal Warner and said nothing but great things about him and how much it hurts, and he really thought of him as a son.
Yeah.
And you know, whatever. I'm not even getting into the Bill Cosby stuff. I'm just saying, everybody loved this guy. He was a great guy. Nobody says nothing bad to say about him that I've heard. And you can die at any time and out of nowhere. And the thing with water, I'll tell you this. I almost drowned. There was a time when I was, I think I was 19 years old. We went to the Bend River, and we were out there, and the river was a little bit high, and I got caught in a current, and I almost drowned. Thankfully, thankfully my stepsister's husband swam out and saved my ass, because I actually would have drowned. My dad was there, but he had a broken leg, and he couldn't get out there to get me. It was like the perfect storm. It was like so crazy. Yeah. Water will get you, man. And when you think you're safe, that's when it will get you, because it doesn't kill people that are being careful. It kills you when you don't think there's anything to worry about.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry, and it sucks, but we have great memories of the guy. And if anything, if I don't like to use this term, but like if anything good was to come, maybe it gives people a little bit of pause about being in the water and how things can just, you know, the current can just take you. Things can happen, you know. Yeah. So maybe somebody will take a little extra caution. It'll save somebody's life. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like, you know, we've had all this flooding here in Central Texas, and you know, they keep stressing it only takes this much water to like wash you away. It only takes this much water to wash your entire car away. Because you know, you look at it and you're like, well, that's not that much. I can make it. And unfortunately, that's generally, now granted, what happened the last couple of weeks has been a little different. Like literally, it was a wall of water that would come in. But like, you know, that's how most cars, there's what looks like a little bit of water over a bridge or something. They're like, oh, I can make that, and you don't. So, yeah. Life vest aren't as lame as taking a chance of drowning. Yep, absolutely. So, and I mean, you know, and it sounded like he didn't know how to swim and everything else, because everyone that's gone down to do reports and stuff, they're like, the beaches are littered with things about riptides and everything else. So apparently that area is just, unfortunately, you know, it can happen to anyone. So, because the dude was still in shape, he still looked good. Like he, you know, it's not like, you know, he didn't know what he was, you know, doing, but you know, like you said, water will get you. So,
yeah.
So our kind of sad to go from that to our first story. But yeah, so when Si and I were talking about what we're going to talk about, I started looking around for stuff, and this one just kind of caught my eye just because of how crazy it is. But Pee Wee Herman's bike from the movie Pee Wee's Big Adventure was purchased. It was a screen used, bike, and it's ending up at the Alamo.
They found it in the basement, right?
Yeah, no, right? I have seen interviews and stuff where they were talking to actual guides at the Alamo, and they're just like, what question do you get more than anything else? And they're like, it doesn't matter that this movie came out, like 30, 40 years ago. They're like, it doesn't matter every single time. Can we see the basement? Like, that's just, everyone makes that joke. And so I saw an interview with the curator, one of the curators for the Alamo, and he was talking about, he's like, yeah, we've kind of got it out front or whatever, and then we're putting it in a special kind of subsection of the museum specifically for like pop culture references and stuff. Because he's like, it's not, of course it's not an artifact of the Alamo itself. He goes, but honestly, it is probably, it drew so much attention to the Alamo. This movie drew so much attention to the Alamo and has been kind of their saving grace ever since. Which is really cool. But yeah, like, I mean, and everyone knows that bike. Like, if you've ever seen the movie, if you even know who Pee Wee Herman is, that bike. But yeah, the fact that they're going to put one at the Alamo, I'm just like, yeah, I think that's the absolute perfect place for, for this bike to end up is at the Alamo. And it's kind of sad that Paul Rubens wasn't alive to see that actually happen, because I guarantee he would have, as long as he wasn't feeling too bad or sick or anything, he would have been there. He would have been there for the opening and taking pictures and everything else. And
what a great, I mean, he obviously had his issues, right? But he was a great dude. Everybody loved him. Like, if you have not watched that, I think it's on HBO or Max, whatever they call it. If you have not watched Pee Wee himself, it is it is really good. Like, it's like his personality just shines in it. He really did have the last word on how his story was going to be told. But yeah, like, and so one of the things I kind of brought up is like, can you think of anything else? Like okay, so like you watch a TV show and maybe a location becomes iconic. Like, when Christy and I went to New York, there are certain places you got to see. Like, you want to go to, the cafe that was originally a place for Seinfeld, because that was like the big thing. The Ghostbusters firehouse is probably head above a lot of other stuff. But I'm trying to think of, is there any prop from a movie that's like associated with a location that is this iconic to these two? These two things are like married together through time and probably always will be at this point. There probably is, but I mean, I don't know. Like, this is just one of those interesting. It's so bizarre, which is why it's so compelling, because it's like, it's the Alamo, and it's Pee Wee. It's very, I don't know. It's interesting.
It's, I mean, if you don't know, I mean, granted, Si and I grew up in Texas. So of course we know about the Alamo. We've been taught about the Alamo. We've heard all about, it's this famous scene, it's this famous location that, a bunch of people gave their lives to protect, to try to keep, Texas going during our war with Mexico. And so there's a lot of death. There was a lot of, big stories that came out of it. And to be tied to this goofy ass movie that came out in the 80s, but for them to embrace it, I think is wonderful. So, yeah,
the Alamo is kind of a big deal in Texas.
a little bit of a big deal here in Texas. Yeah.
It's kind of the reason that Texas is a part of the United States. I mean,
kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but that is, it's funny, this bike, when we were little kids, I think I was probably in the third grade. I was probably like 8, 9 years old. Mm-hmm. My dad came back from Germany and he gave me a 2-speed German bike. 2-speed. It had 2 speeds. Okay. It's kind of a weird bike.
Yeah.
And so when we moved to another town it happened at the end of the second grade, going into third grade. wanted to ride this bike around, and my mom didn't know the area that well. So my mom, we watched this movie, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and my mom started coming up with this idea. She was like, let's put some stuff on this bike. So we started adding stuff onto this bike.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
And we put on headlights. We put on turn signals. We put on baskets on the back. We put on one of those flags with the orange visibility flag. We put on little spokes, little things on the spokes, all kinds of shit on this bike. We just kept adding stuff to this bike. And my brother would, and unfortunately wrecked this bike. He went down a hill too fast and tore his knee up. If you ever talk to man and ask him about his knee,
okay,
we had to rush him to the hospital.
Oh wow! So it was like really tore up.
Oh, really bad. Like ripped his whole knee. Like he had gravel inside his knee. It was bad. He was bleeding everywhere. It was horrible. And the only thing I was such a shitty kid. I was like, my bike. I was such a shitty kid.
You're just a kid, dude. Don't know.
Yeah, but my brother's about to die, and I'm just like, my bike. I will always feel like a piece of crap because of that. But anyway, the bike has a lot of history. This bike, because of that situation, has a lot of extra meaning.
Yes.
So to us. But I think it's really cool. that they have that. What a great movie too. I never watched the other Pee-wee movies. I only watched the Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I never saw the other ones.
Yeah, well, I mean, and he talks about that in the documentary. He talks about how, he really wanted to have more control over writing it and stuff like that. And it was more serious. And so a lot of people were just like, that's not what I'm here for. And so it didn't do well. It bombed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to kind of cover that. So, now to something more serious. We're just going up and down on this episode, man. We're Superman, death of celebrities, Pee-wee's bike, and now we're going to talk about another death, unfortunately, and it's the death of the Late Show. So
I bet last night would have something to say about this.
Yeah. So here's the thing: we are not a political show. I do not want to be a political show, but I am going to bring up the fact that CBS has announced that the Late Show will be canceled starting next year, roughly about 10 months from now. They're citing that it's financial reasons. Of course, apparently, like even Stephen Colbert was completely shocked about the news. It really kind of came out of nowhere. A lot of people are hypothesizing that because it's just kind of odd, the timing of this, because it literally happened like 2 days after he went on a big tirade about how CBS paid money to the Trump organization because of a lawsuit that was brought up instead of actually going to court, and probably could have won it. They decided to settle out of court. And there are people who are thinking that this is a way to grease the wheels, as it were, because CBS is currently being sold, I believe, to another company. Yeah. So there's background stuff, and the FCC does have to approve it. So, last line even says, "Yep, timing is too convenient." What's interesting to me, there are a couple of things that came out here. I want to kind of, I'm going to say sidestep, because like I said, I don't really want to get into all the theories on that, because I want to talk about some of the other stuff. I want to talk about the state of late night. He's getting a lot of support, not only from just his fans and stuff, but this was posted today. Apparently last night, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, John Oliver, and Jon Stewart all showed up in the audience to support him.
That's funny. Have you seen what Jon Stewart has been doing since all this?
Yes.
God, yeah. He's so fucking funny. He's on. I haven't seen Jon Stewart be this funny in 20 years. Mm-hmm. The guy is so
he's fired up. He's fired
the Elmo thing he did the other day. If you haven't seen it,
I
you
haven't
have
seen
to
that
see
yet.
it. That I'm sorry. I just want to say I was watching that at work. I was listening to it. I'll be working and I'll have headphones in listening to stuff. And I was listening to that fucking Elmo thing he did. Literally, I was fucking laughing out loud, gasping to breathe. It was so fucking funny. Anyway.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, one of the things I did not know, one of the things that has really kind of come out on this is during COVID. Apparently, several of these guys, and I've got it right now. I don't know why you would not be watching this, but if you're not watching it and you're listening to it, I've got a picture of Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, what's his name? John Oliver. I'm blanking on the other two guys' name, Jimmy Kimmel and Seth Meyers. I've got a picture of all five of these guys on screen. And some of them were friends beforehand, but during COVID, when everything got shut down, these guys started a group chat and still use it to this day. Okay, I've got a couple of things about that. Number one, that warms my heart that these guys are technically on competing networks, but because of the situation they're in, they're like, no one else knows the situation I'm in. These are my peers. Unless I talk to someone like Letterman, who has previously done this, like these are the only people who really understand the situation that I'm in. But the fact that like they're friends and they like hang out, can you imagine what that chat would be like? It's got to be talking about hardcore. Can you believe this is happening in the news right now? To just, I've got to outdo every one of these fuckers.
Dude, you're talking about
jokes are off the hook.
I've seen like panels with Conan and stuff where he has like all these super comedians on. Mm-hmm. They just the level of comedy. Let me say this. To a lesser extent, I can understand exactly what that's like, because when I was helping, there were some guys here in Dallas that had a radio show, and I ran a chat room for them. This was like 2004, 2005, in that ballpark. They had a major radio show in Dallas, and I ran their chat room for them, and we would hang out. I would help with the show, doing different things. I wasn't actually employed by the radio station. I was just like a fan that participated in a friend of theirs. In fact, the guys are in my movie that I made. Mm-hmm. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is we would go hang out at one of the guys' houses or apartments or whatever. And the people from the show were all comedians. Some of them actually did stand-up comedy at the local comedy clubs. And they would rapid fire shit all like when everybody would get together and have their discussions. It was show prep, but it was just random, like seeing how they could make each other laugh. Like the craziest, fastest, like I've never had any experience like that. But being there when they're doing this to each other, can you imagine that level of doing that shit? Yeah. Oh crap! Yeah, that's got to be like crazy,
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, so the reason I wanted to bring this story up on this program is because, like I said, I don't really want to go into the political idea of it. But let's just for a second take it at face value that yes, the reason why they're stopping the Late Show, and apparently so far as not only are they going to stop the show, like it's not just they're replacing him, they're stopping the show and they're selling the Ed Sullivan Theater. Like they're done. Which sounds like, yeah, that's typical merger stuff going right now is it's not making it's only making 5 million instead of the 10 million we were expecting, so it's not worth it, let's get rid of it. But it really thinking about it, and I got to really thinking about this, I was like, is it legit? Because when was the last time, and I mean, you're a different person than I am, but like I cannot think of the last time I've sat down and watched. Now, granted, I will put on the evening news, the local news at night, so that I can just see, hey, what's going on. Usually it's like, well, what's going on weather-wise, just because whatever. Or, there's something that's happening here. Like, I wanted to check and see what was going on with the flooding and stuff. And so I'll have it on. And then it's not like I turn off the TV right at 10:30. It rolls right on into, because I watch the NBC station here, it rolls right on into Fallon. But I cannot tell you the last time I specifically stayed up and watched any one of these shows. The way I consume these shows, John Oliver's the only one that's different. He posts his main story on YouTube like a couple of days later. That's the only reason that I watch John Oliver stuff. Like, I have HBO. I could watch it if I wanted to, but I don't do it. I don't ever seek out to do that. And the only time I ever see any of Fallon stuff or Kimmel or anyone else is if someone posted on social media. Like, it comes up in my feed.
To speak to what you're saying, Jon Stewart touched on this, and he basically said, the way this is happening is the issue. Mm-hmm. He's like, we all understand. The way he put it was, these late night shows are basically like a Blockbuster kiosk inside of Tower Records. Like, he's like, this is old. This stuff's old. This way of doing things is old. Yeah. Things are different now. People aren't watching. Yeah. Even though the Colbert, what is it called? The Late Show. Excuse me. I was going to the Colbert Report. Yeah. Even though that actually is like the highest rated show. I don't know if it's the highest rated show on CBS or just in that time slot, but it was very highly rated. So it's not the ratings that are the issue. And I think it is probably true that it is losing money. The show is losing money, but every show is probably losing money, And
that was also one of my other thoughts. I was like, okay, so let's walk through this. They canceled the show. They sell the Ed Sullivan Theater. Then what do you put on in its?
That's exactly.
It? Who the hell wants to do anything at 10:30? Well, here locally 10:30. Like Last Line's talking about, he sees it at 9. Who the hell wants that spot? Like, what do you even put there?
See, that's the point, though. If they're going to cancel a number one show, like Last Line is saying, Colbert has almost as many viewers as Kimmel and Fallon put together. Mm-hmm. So if they're going to cancel that show, what you're not going to make that, you're not going to make more money with another show, right? No. This is, so the real issue, it is economic, but the real issue is your format is dying. It's not the show. It's the whole concept of what you're doing. Broadcast television is on its way out, and we've known that for a long time. Yeah. It's just not going to work anymore. It's the numbers aren't there, and they're getting smaller. So in a way, I really think they did him a favor. It sucks I don't know what's going to happen with the theater. I'm really concerned about that because the history in that theater is
wild.
That's
heartbreaking to me.
Yeah. But Colbert and his team should be cut loose. Let them go do something else, because that guy could do anything. That guy could go do, a podcast. He could do something big. He could do something.
That's what he needs to do right there. That's the exact same thing I thought. Now, granted, he's not going to be able to carry as many people until he gets up and running.
Right.
But hell, all these guys also put together, I think they did a podcast during COVID so that they could support their teams that were out of work at the time. I remember reading that as well. That's one of the reasons they all kind of came together. But yeah, you would totally let him off the chain at that point. Like, he could say whatever he wanted. I mean, depending, the sponsors that would line up
exactly
would be part of that. Like, he would almost rival, if not possibly could rival Rogan at this point.
I think there's an opportunity for one of these streaming services to pick him up as an exclusive thing to try something different, to try something different. Or maybe not a streaming service, maybe like Blue Sky, maybe like he could stream on a platform like that.
That's true.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. That guy, I mean, the biggest show on TV, are you kidding? He's going to they're all going to land on their feet. These people are not going to be destroyed by this. They're only going to be released. They're going to be unleashed because of this. And, you know, again, we're not getting political. Obviously Colbert's very talented, okay? And he's been hamstrung for a long time because he can't really do the show the way he wants to do the show on CBS. I mean, Jon Stewart is on Comedy Central because he just wants to be. He doesn't even have to, he's come back just to goof around and do the show. And he's blowing it out of the water. And he can literally do anything he wants. He literally on his last show told CBS to go F themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was a whole thing. Like, yeah. And he's not going to stop doing that, you know? Well, you know,
he had that show on Apple TV Plus, and he wanted to do an episode on something or another, and Apple said, yeah, we don't really want you to do that. And he was just like, well, bye. And just like dropped that. Like, they didn't drop him. He dropped them because he was like, no, I'm doing the show I want to do. And if you have a problem with it, tough.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power, you know. A lot of these names, the big names that have carried over from the old media to the new media, they have an advantage that nobody has. They have a built-in audience wherever they show up. I mean, that's why I said it doesn't matter. This dude's Colbert and his people are going to be fine. You know, they're going to figure this out. They're going to go off and do something, you know, better. I mean, that may sound crazy, but it'll be better for them.
Yeah, a couple of things. Last line said, I bet Spotify or Netflix could call up a 9-digit contract on the spot. He's right about that. His latest comment, yeah, the Apple thing was because of criticism about China. That you're right. That's what it was. I knew it was something he was going to talk about, and Apple stepped in and was like, no, you can't do that because, you know, they make all of their devices over there. And so he was like, nope, I'm done. So totally get it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, and going back to the thing about what are they going to put in its place, part of me is just like, then you go in and you say, hey guys, this is not working anymore. We can't do the big theater anymore. What if we cut back? What if you have a quarter of the audience? Maybe we have to cut back and you only have half of your staff. Because you don't have, as many people in the theater or something. I had heard, and I don't know this for a fact, but I had heard that that's actually what they proposed to him. That they would keep. No? Yeah. He said he wants everybody. And they said no. And he wasn't willing to. And I don't know that that's true, but that's what I heard. That they wanted him to cut way back. And he said he wasn't going to do it if they let any of his people go. And so, I could see him doing that because, like I said, him and the other guys got together and did, I think it was a podcast during COVID, and it was to support their staff during COVID because their staff were out of work. Like, they're like, I don't want you to leave and have to go find something else because when we are coming back, it's just a question of when. But I understand you also have to have a paycheck. So, right. Yeah. Well, like I said, whatever they end up doing, I just feel like he's already got an idea. They're already getting things in motion for whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe there's a deal that has been waiting for him, you know? Yeah. I don't know. But I feel like they're going to be okay. You know? But I don't feel like TV is going to be okay. I really feel like this is the beginning of the end. To see the Late Show go and they're not replacing him. They're not keeping the theater. That's gone. You know, I can still remember when David Letterman came to CBS, how big a deal that was. Oh yeah, because he was supposed to take over the Tonight Show, and when it went to Leno, he was literally walked across the street and was like, "What you got for me?" Yep. And it was so big, and that show for the first 10 years that it was on was the biggest thing. Like, oh yeah, people don't remember how exciting Letterman's show was. I mean, it was wild, and they would throw shit off the roof all the time and just do crazy stuff. Like, he was like a rock star for quite a while. Letterman was huge, and he was so funny, you know. And Colbert has always been, you know, amazingly entertaining.
everything he's done has been really, really funny. So yeah, whatever ends up happening, they're going to be okay. But TV's not. TV's this is all falling apart. TV's not doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like I said, I don't watch anything. I mean, I have an antenna up so that I can get the local stations, mainly for the news.
Does. I'm glad you said that. I'm sorry. Let me jump in.
Oh my God! Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this. Go on.
PBS is getting screwed because they've decided to take away all the funding for the for public broadcasting. So there's going to be even less reason to have that antenna. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
No, I thought you were going with the fact that I wonder what all the CBS affiliates are saying right now.
Well, okay.
Because let's go into this real quick. Because
they got to fill that time with something. Yeah.
Cyrus and I went into, we both, that's how we met. We were in college. We were learning television production at the local station here, the local PBS station, which by the way, doesn't even exist here anymore. But
oh, really? Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. They shut it down years ago because they needed a bunch of money to upgrade all the equipment to get to HD. And they just simply weren't going to do it. So they went ahead and just shut everything down. But anyway, yeah, like you learn very quickly that the local stations, they live, local news stations live because they do sports and weather. Everything else is extra. You sell sports and weather is what sells advertising. And what comes before and after the show, after the news show, depend on who's going to watch that. Now, the on-air talent does make a difference because Christy and I have our preference as to which newscasters we like, which station we like, so on and so forth. But if no one, like most people, if they're like, well, I'm watching this, I like, America's Got Talent or whatever the hell it is on NBC, and I like watching Fallon afterwards, why? It's not a lot of work. We all know it's not a lot of work. But to go, well, I'm going to switch over to the CBS station and watch the news and then switch back, a lot of people eventually are just like, well, it's still the news. I'm still getting what I need. I'm just going to stay there. And that makes a big difference. And now, if they don't have a secure plan as to what's going on after that, if I was a CBS affiliate, I would be pissed and scared to death because whatever leads into the news is what's going to carry you from this point. You don't have Colbert to get people to keep watching until the end of that newscast.
Well, last line brings up a good point. I don't know how long the local stations are even going to survive because this is just a totally different world that we live in now.
Yeah.
People don't advertise the same way. People don't find things the same way. It used to be really important to advertise locally in your market on your radio and TV stations. It's really not that important anymore because you just have to get listed in the places where people search for things. You have to.
Okay, I will push back against that a little bit just because there's a con that locally happens here in Killeen called Giganticon. And they tend to focus most of their ad work, most of their ad money on digital stuff, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And I can't tell you how many people tell me, I didn't even know there was a thing going on this weekend. And I've been pushing them. I'm like, listen, I know television is expensive. Radio is cheaper. But I'm like, you have got to get billboards. Believe it or not, especially now this is also an event.
Billboards.
This is
billboards, yeah.
But you have got to get local type advertising like that because you cannot trust. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to and they're just like, yeah, I spent a bunch of money on Facebook advertising and it said, oh, you've reached this many people. And they're like, my actual flow, money, anything never went up, never even took a dent. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't trust that advertising. I don't think it works, to be honest with you. But yeah, like local stuff does still matter during the news. Now during TV shows and stuff, I don't think it makes a bit of difference.
Well, I'll tell you this also. I think advertising isn't geared towards small businesses anymore. I think, because of all of the consolidation of retail and manufacturing and different things, they're not really trying to help the little guy. They're really just trying to maintain their contracts with the big, Amazon and, Walmart and Target and these big corporations, you know?
Yeah.
So they don't care, you know? You're right. The advertising isn't going to work. And there's probably not any advertising that's going to work to help, you know, small people. Really, the only thing that seems to really get the message out for people is showing up in places that people go. Like, what I mean is, billboards is a good idea, but showing, like, being a guest on a podcast maybe, or you know, something. I don't know. I really don't know, because it's just not. There's not a way. It's just a different time. It's a different time.
Well, your suggestion about search is definitely a big thing. So, like, whenever I was rebuilding Alex's PC and doing some work on this one, we're not going down this rabbit hole because this is a whole hour and a half conversation right here in itself. But the fact that, like, the standoffs inside of a computer are now different sizes, like the screws on them are now different sizes. Anyway, I needed some. I didn't have some, and so I pulled up Google, and I was just like, "What is a local computer store around here?" And I found one, and they're really cool. In fact, both times I've gone in there, I haven't bought anything from these guys. I haven't. Like I said, I haven't. The only thing I've done is like, "Hey, I need a couple standoffs for this," and both times they went back, found the standoffs, and I was just like, "How much do I owe you?" And they're like, "Go to Google and give us a good review." That's literally what they told me. They're like, I'm not going to charge you for a standoff that costs, 2 cents. And you better believe I went to Google and gave them a 5-star review and told them, hey, I needed something, and these guys stepped up and were really nice about it and everything. But yeah, like for small business, yeah, like search is, you just got to make sure your search is up there, because advertising, it's still a place couldn't afford doing radio or television or anything kind of ads. Like, I guarantee you walk in there and 95% of their business is repairs, because you can't compete against Amazon trying to sell motherboards.
The other thing last time I mentioned, which might be what you were alluding to about not wanting to get into because we'll talk forever, is the AI thing. Because it's getting to where you can't even get good information to find anything out anyway, because AI's destroyed search engines. What a weird time we're in, man.
It's funny. Yeah, this is a whole conversation we're not going to go down right now, but I do find myself, I will look at the AI generated response, but then I always like scroll down, or if I'm just like, okay, that might be right, immediately do a search for that exactly. I'm just like, is this really what happened? Or depending on what it is, I just immediately scroll down, just like, no, I need the direct link to the thing. So yeah, it's crazy world, man.
Oh yeah.
So once again, we've said it before, we'll say it again. Thank God you and I did not decide to make television our career.
Good God. So when we worked at that TV station, it was like 20 years behind already. And they were, you're right, they needed to upgrade all their stuff, but they wouldn't have been able to. And even if they did, they'd still be going out of business, because it was only a matter of time before the money went away. And that's what's happening with PBS now. You're going to PBS, they've been talking about, I hear it on the radio on the way home from work sometimes. And I'm like, guys, just do ads. Just run ads. Let go of this idea of what public broadcasting used to be. You guys got to survive, You can't just beg for money 24/7. You can't do it all day, every day. People will stop listening to you. They hate that shit.
Yep.
Just run ads. There's ads on everything.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Of course, if I were one of these streaming services, some of the better shows are on PBS, I'd be picking those off left and right.
Well, and that's the thing, is there's an opportunity for at least the corporate PBS, not the local PBS, but there's an opportunity for corporate PBS to sign a deal and put their stuff out. I mean, they already had that one deal with HBO with Sesame Street and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's
around it. They're gonna have to adapt.
That's what's going to happen. PBS is going to become a piece of something else. It's going to be like Sega. They're gonna become like Sega, third-party publisher.
Yeah. You know what's funny, and I think about this from time to time when I still worked at Hastings. To work in the video department, you had to take a test and answer different questions. And I will never forget was one of the questions was why will you never see Sonic the Hedgehog on the Nintendo console? I still think about to this day. And of course, I could answer it correctly. In fact, when I took that test, when I was in Nacogdoches, Texas, going to Stephen F. Austin University, I took that test, and the video manager told me, "You got a higher score than I did." Because I knew my crap. But anyway, all right, we've been going for over an hour. I think that's pretty good. So we're going to wrap up this episode. This has been a fun show. Last line. Thank you so much for joining us. We've had other viewers jump in. And if you watch this after the fact, number one, thank you for that. We greatly appreciate it. But if you would definitely, like and subscribe to the show. Do all the things you do on YouTube. Is ringing the bell still a thing? Is that even still a thing anymore?
I don't know anymore because it doesn't do anything. Like, I don't get notifications no matter what I do. The whole thing is broken. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
But yeah, definitely, like and subscribe to the channel. That way, hopefully whenever we're doing a show, I usually post it on Monday that we're doing the show and what it's going to be about. And then we're kind of sticking to a Tuesday schedule. So, but yeah, definitely check out epicallygeeky.com where you can find all the shows we do. If you like this and you would like a more organized format for some of this stuff, for example, don't shake your head here. For example, I spent this last weekend. I got several interviews set up. So just to kind of give you a quick rundown, in the next couple of weeks here, we're going to be doing an interview with a author who she designed computer chips for 15 years and decided she wanted to become a writer and was writing. Now, granted, they're for kids, but they're modern day choose your own adventure books. And I'm just like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I always wanted to write a choose your own adventure book.
I never could get through it and get the good answer. Like, I always had to go to the back and go, okay, what page to go back? And I'm just like, I can't get through this. I'm
Dude,
like,
that's a lot.
Why would I ever go into the room with the dark, where it's darkness and scary? Like, that's not a choice I'll ever make.
That type of book is like, I don't even know if kids know about those anymore. Like, I don't know. Is
Probably
that
not?
Yeah, it's a lost media or whatever they call that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Damascus Steel.
We're let's see, on the creative show, our next interview is with a couple that cosplays, and they do fantastic cosplay. I can't wait to talk to them about how they got into that. I'm still trying to iron out on the creative show. Probably the month after that, we're gonna have to work some scheduling stuff out. But over this last weekend, I met a guy that worked. He currently works for Gearbox. He works on all the Borderlands games. He does outsourcing of artwork and stuff. And he was one of the original head artists for Ghostbusters, the video game, the 2009 one that everyone in the Ghostbusters community to this day still says is the best Ghostbusters game ever. So yeah, I hope to have an interview with him. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And then in 2 weeks here, actually a week and a half, on the Epically Geeky show, I saw a post. Someone did these. They said their library was putting 4 movies together and coming up with a theme as to why you would get it. And it was, let's see if I can find this real quick. Let's see here. It was over here. Yeah. So it was Castaway, Captain Phillips, Sully, and Apollo 13. And the way they put it together was never travel with Tom Hanks. So we're gonna do an episode where we're gonna take 2 or 3, maybe 4 movies and put them together and see if we can figure out what the theme is. Like, why do all of these movies essentially go together? So that should be a fun thing as well. So, but let's talk a little bit about you, Cyrus. What do you have going on, man? Where can we find you?
I got 2 different channels. One is for streaming. One is for videos. If you find Super Mega Graphics 64, then you'll probably find the other one too, because the other one's called Super Mega Graphics 64 Plus.
And that's spelled out, right? Not just a plus sign. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much, it keeps me busy, and I do like to do other things. Like I'm on your channel. I'll be on Casey and Television Gamers channel. Papa Pete, who does a bunch of different streams from different old consoles and stuff. I'll be on there sometimes. I like to be on other people's stuff if I can. I'm going to be doing a show with Max, Max Movies and Entertainment, talking about stuff. Maybe Saturday. I'm not sure when we're doing that, but
Cool.
I stay busy. So
It's better than just sitting around not doing anything. Let me tell you.
No, not really. Sitting around not doing anything is pretty good. That's pretty good.
Fair enough. Of course, I'm saying that, and I've got a 3-day convention coming up this weekend. So,
are you going to be there all 3 days?
Yes, I'm going to be there.
Whoa, where's this at?
This is Classic Game Fest in Austin, Texas. So I mean, it's always a fun con. There's always fun stuff to do and look at and stuff while I'm there. But yeah, there's really a lot of time on my feet. So it's a lot of time on my feet this last weekend, and I was just like, oh, I gotta do this again next weekend. So
are you going to do any videos or streaming or anything from there, or
maybe if it slows down, we'll see. So who knows? Like I may wander around and see if I can find some random people to talk to while I'm wandering around. So, but
that's cool.
And if I do, I'll definitely put it on this channel. But if you want to follow my individual wacky adventure, you can find me at Optimus Gene on, I'm going to say Facebook and Instagram. Honestly, go look me up on Instagram. Like everything like flows into Facebook. I'm not specifically posting there. It is what it is. If I were not doing shows and I was not doing the Ghostbuster stuff, I'd be out on Facebook. But it is what it is. We still have some people over there that talk about stuff. So last line once again, thanks for joining us. Peace out. And for I guess Cyrus Martin, have a good night.
Blah, 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 blah.